Hi, I'm Leathur Rokk. Welcome to my channel. I'm coming at you live again, and it's 1:36 in the morning. And I'm not using the cell phone this time. Cell phone's here and it's plugged in and it's charging. Because if you were tuned into the last live stream I did, you see that it ended abruptly. I totally went out of power, and that's all she wrote. And my intention was, after having the dinner that was so wonderful, compliments to the chef. I was planning on, well, obviously I didn't change clothes, but I was planning on going back outside, doing some more filming, maybe doing a live stream from Tropicana or something. But the problem with my thing being out of power here, last I checked, it was 36%. Let me see what it is here. 37%. Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. And I don't know how long I want to wait before I go out, because I don't want to make too late at night, because this is Saturday night. Tomorrow I have a chance to do something in the morning. It's a couple blocks away. And tomorrow afternoon I actually uh, have a dinner, a church dinner to go to. Uh, and there's not going to be a lot of people there, but I do know at least to say hello to almost everybody. And it's this and most of the people that go there are my homeless friends and stuff. So, but I go there more for the company than I do for the food. But sometimes there's something that I can bring home to my mom, and sometimes I get to bring home some of the iced tea. They make really good iced tea there, which is actually Turkey Hill brand. It's just a really sweet and lemony iced tea mix that's actually in like a milk jug or something. But I usually bring some of that home when I go, and that and some of the coffee. And you never know what they're going to have. But it's something that goes on once a month. And unless something really, really pressing is going on in my life, I try to go. There are times in my life when I haven't been able to go because I was attending a sick cat. There are times when I couldn't go because my mother was going through times in her life where she really needed constant care. And there are a few times when I just absolutely forgot. But it's something I try to go to, because so many of the things I go to, you have to walk clear across town or something, and this is a lot closer by and stuff. Uh, and the air conditioning always feels good, and the atmosphere is real pleasant. It's the sort of thing that I like to actually get dressed up for. And by dressed up, I mean I don't necessarily dripping pentagrams, and I'm not necessarily wearing my absolute shortest skirts, just because I am sitting down, and any surface I sit down on, then I feel like I can't wait to take a shower and stuff. So sometimes I wear like those Indian tunics over straight trousers or something. But I do want to take my advantage of the air conditioning, and I want to not wear a lot, but not totally bare sleeves, because then I would be possibly getting my elbow up against uh, uh, the tablecloth, and I know that's kind of supposed to be rude, but almost everybody does it. But anyway, the later I stay out tonight, the more it would reduce the chance of my getting a bunch of things done tomorrow. But still, I would like to get discharged up some more so that I can go and see who is hanging out on the boardwalk. Saturday night and everything. Things could be getting lively. And I'm about to get lively right now. You know what that means. It means time to get this. Oh, I just made a pot of decaf coffee. I really am thirsty. Oh, and that wasn't even really bottled water. That was actually municipal tap water in a bottle that when I refilled, put it in the refrigerator. But by the time I drank that, it wasn't even cold. Mm. Mm. Gotta get it. Oh, here it is. So that was really great. That package I got today. It was from a friend who used to actually use this address, but because we have such a problem with packages, I don't know how hard it can be for the major carriers to get it right. But a lot of them, they won't call you to verify, as if that is an extra bit of effort. I don't understand what's so hard about things like that. I'm so glad it's more illegal. All right. Finally getting to enjoy some of the summer. Knowing I have something small and portable that I can use to film with, that means a lot, you know. There's simple things in life like being connected, being able to share, having weed now and then, having enough sunblock so you can protect your skin, you know. Do not have to always be wearing long sleeves when you're baking inside, and inevitably everything tends to be black, which just makes you feel like you're cooking. You know? But now, if you wear white things, depending on the weave and how tight it is, you could actually have sun coming through your skin, and that would really suck. You know. Oh, so my mom raved over that chicken I made. Loved it, loved it, loved it. That's an easy sauce to make. You saw how easy it was. Even if you just have to approximate your measurements, like you can tell a roughly 50-50 mixture, maybe a little bit more jelly than soy sauce, you know, considering the sodium content and stuff. And just remember ginger and garlic and a little tiny bit of red pepper flakes. And that's it. You know? Um, but you see, now I noticed you can find any spices, any seasoning you want on Amazon. Also, everything seems to be on Amazon. But I still, a lot of times you price things on there and you think, how much do I pay? What do I cost? What it costs for me to buy things locally? And especially if you don't even have to invest in bus fare or gas money because it's literally a couple of blocks away. And the great thing about having so many more immigrants that are hired for in the hospitality industry out here, so you have there's a place I discovered that sells uh, food from a bunch of African countries. It's uptown, so you can find things if you want to learn their cuisines. Around here, you can find places that have Chinese, Korean, Thai, Japanese, whatever, and you can find the condiments that they use, and so many kinds of ramen noodles, so many kinds of noodles, different kinds of rices. You can get 25-pound bags and even 50-pound bags. I've gotten, I used to get 25-pound bags, and two of them would fit a nice sized laundry cart. And I would save money on them by getting, because I like jasmine rice a lot. I would get broken rice. The broken rice is a lot less expensive. Uh, but that place, this one big Asian market I used to go to, it closed. After COVID, it closed completely, but the owners are still in a business. They now are running a marijuana dispensary. And so I'm glad they still have an income. I'm thinking, how different, you know? And I would definitely be curious to give them my business just because I liked the people when they were running the market, and I felt like they took me under their wing when I went there because they knew that even though I was interested in the culture and in the foods, I certainly can't read the language. So they helped me with that, and sometimes gave me personal recommendations on things. And I was really sad to see that store closed. And I've been there's a store in Pleasantville that's really big and stuff, but I thought the ones here had better prices. But I would definitely want to stick with a basic list, just those condiments. And the thing is that I would want to get the place where I ultimately get them. I would want that to be the place where I can get that lowest price. And usually the store pretty much you get everything there unless you know there's certain things that you can get cheaper elsewhere. But in the same token, waiting for the time it takes for shipping for individual things, that can really kind of suck. But like curry leaves, I've been curious about and needing them to make certain recipes for probably at least 3 or 4 years. And I just thought it's something I've never seen locally. Curry leaves are not the same thing even remotely as curry powder. Uh, so, but I definitely want the sesame oil because that and soy sauce and some thin sliced scallions can make a great basic dipping sauce for pot stickers and for spring rolls and for egg rolls, things like that. Add some red pepper flakes, and there's this thing. I think it's rice vinegar and sliced jalapeno peppers and a few red pepper flakes and sliced scallions. And it's a dipping sauce in some Thai restaurants. And it is wonderful. You actually take little spoonfuls of it and put it on top of things. And when you get the lucky bite that has the jalapeno, it just gives you a burst of flavor. And not so hot as to be overpowering because you're not getting, it's not like you're getting a slice of jalapeno with every bite of food you eat. It's not like that. You just, put a couple of, like a teaspoon or two of it on your food. And so that would mean you probably get like 4 or 5 slices of jalapeno. And they're the small peppers that like are about this thick and no more wide than this, you know. Like that pepper that I showed you that was in with those mushrooms, that at its widest point, I don't think most of the slices in the little thing of this mixture that they had, this one particular restaurant had at every table, they had the stuff and it was rice wine vinegar. And you can tell that they had, the hot peppers, but they weren't that big. It was a nice manageable size, you know. The only way you could overdo it on the spices with that is if you already overdid it with the sour, because rice wine vinegar has a tartness to it. And but you know what? I could see it as a more refreshing kind of acid than wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar. Even though apple cider vinegar is supposed to have some medicinal properties, especially if you pair it with honey. That's supposed to be a tonic right there. You take it by the tablespoon, and sometimes people mix it with hot water. Because honey's alive. Honey's like has natural antibiotic properties. Honey has natural preservative properties. Honey is this wonderful superfood. Even though that said, they say you shouldn't give it to children under a year old. You know. So, um, I don't want to say I'm getting tired because I really do want to go outside, but until I power up, I don't want to. I don't want to not take this out, and I don't want to take this out with no battery power at all. 42%. You know, because I mean, look, when I was live streaming, how much time did I really get before it powered out completely? And I'm not saying that I'm going to go do another long live stream out there, but I just want to know that I'm prepared for whatever. You know, I don't want to feel that I have to get a plug-in over near where I'm going because that would probably take me away from my friends unless we all went over to a place that happened to have an electrical hookup. Because as long as I'm where the party is, I'm fine. But I'm going to want to keep an eye at a time because it's already 1:54 a.m. and I'm afraid if I wait too much longer, by the time I get to where I want to go, uh, there might only be a few tourists out, and my friends might not be already there. So, you see, 42%. That's not very much power. Um, you think I should go out with just a little bit? I was hoping to wait at least to 50%. No, figure I don't change what I'm wearing, but I do want to make sure to bring the pink purse with me, my Hello Kitty bag. 'Cause, oh, here it is. So I'm thinking the next thing I want to order from Timu is more pot leaf socks. Because I think at least if you're wearing pot leaf on your socks, that's a way to automatically instantly convey to everybody that you're a pot person. And then if say they had a whole bunch of pot and say you don't have any, they're going to be much more likely to say, would you like some? And if you're a person on a budget, if you're a person for whom it would be fiscally irresponsible to spend money on weed, that would be a way to get weed in your life. It's a way to attract it to you. So the fireworks going to be next week, next Saturday. Mm-hmm. So people were saying this is supposed to be the last weekend, the last week of the summer, and I find the thought of that so depressing. Mayor, hi, how you doing? charging up some. Man, when the power is out, it just shuts off. You know, but I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I've still got use of my main laptop here. You know, I'm glad I got it before the tariffs kicked in. Or maybe they're only going to affect the real expensive ones, and if you get something real cheap, it won't be affected. You know, because it was because I had this computer that I was able to go on Temu just out of curiosity, and I put in cell phones, and I found these. I found first of all, I looked at was like 2 inches, and it's supposed to be the world's smallest cell phone and everything. And but then I started looking around, and I saw something that seemed like it had a nice camera. And that's the thing is that you want as good a camera as you can possibly get, you know. And I just wanted something so that I could go back outside and go party with my friends and make videos and find interesting things outside and have something small and portable that could get me past security whenever I went anyplace special so that I could still create content without normally doing what I always did, which was carry this big, heavy laptop and aim the webcam in the direction of what I wanted to film and hope I got it, you know. Or you use those clip on webcams, but they slip around unless you clamp them on and stuff, you know. One thing I noticed with certain high end tablets uh, that Apple makes, their iPads, they come with a spotlight. So when you're filming at night, you automatically have a light for your subject, you know. And if anything like this is available, I honestly don't know about it. So, but it is now 1:58 a.m. and according to this, no, I want to see the time. I mean, not the time. I want to see how much. See, it's giving me the welcome screen thing. Oh, you don't even see what it's doing. Yeah, see, it's giving a welcome screen. Maybe you'll see some confetti. Yeah, you see? Isn't that nice? Now, beyond this, I don't know. It doesn't tell you to do anything. Oh, it's 44%. Oh, and anyway, 44%. So I don't know whether I should go out with it at this lower percentage, but I don't want to waste. The later I wait to go out, the greater chance that everybody's going to be gone for the night, and it's just going to be a few strangers, and I'm going to feel conspicuous, and I'm going to say, you know what, I better get the hell home. You know. That said, it's still a summer night, and it's still Saturday night, and there are sometimes parties on Saturday nights in the summertime that are legendary, where you see people, you see groups of friends, and you hang out some more, and you hang out some more, and the next thing you know it, there are wispies of sun coming out. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I wish I had sunblock. So you know what? Just in case, I'll bring two the sunblock with me. You know, because it's all about doing what the Boy Scouts said, and that's be prepared. So, and you like the bag that I am putting the phone in? Okay, I've got to X something out here. That is interfering with my scene myself. It's just something asking me if it wanted me to back up more pictures out of this, and it's like I don't have any more pictures out of this. You know? So anyway, by putting that phone in this pouch, it'll protect it from other things in my handbag, and it'll also help me make sure that I'm not losing it because I can tell that I have it. So see, it fits in like this. You know what I haven't done in a while? I have to tend my cat's grave. And one of the things I do to decorate, believe it or not, is I use arrangements of dead flowers that still, I mean, they look in every aspect like living flowers because they have the same shape and everything, they just have faded color. And I think that that still can look attractive without being something that you have to maintain, except for keeping it from blowing away or something. But I'll show you what I mean. And you can see how this has a certain arrangement to it, a certain artistic, sculptural thing. I have all kinds of things over there. Plus, I have a few fake flowers, which was originally always going to be a part of my plan. Because, you know, that can look good for months and months at a time, and people aren't really going to mess with it, even if somebody's mowing the grass in the vicinity, you know. Look at this. This is dry, but I think that definitely looks almost like part of a professional flower arrangement. And I could stick that over there. And plus, it's all biodegradable, it's all natural. They still have this cut crystal stemware that I have that I collected flowers in. Nobody's ever swiped it. You know, I could just put these things in that. The fake flowers, a lot of them, I actually stuck them, poked them directly into the ground above where the graves were. And that served a lot of purposes. On one hand, it was decorative, and on the other hand, it was a physical barrier that discouraged people from walking right over there and discouraged people from getting their lawnmower. Hold on a second. My mom needs my help. Hey. All right. That was what? How can that be? She's saying that the passageway is getting narrower and narrower. And I think I've been pretty good about picking up things when they fall down. Even though, like, I have to clean things and then when they're dry, then put things back. You can't just pick things up and put things on the side somewhere and contaminate clean things with things that have touched the dirty ground, you know. So, and I take umbrage at that. You know, I just brewed a pot of decaf coffee. I'm gonna get a cup out. See, I'm back. My clapboard back. I don't know if you can even see. I don't want to prop the screen up because the more I move it, the thing could just snap off. And I don't want that to happen. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Hopefully not getting coffee on the keyboard. Gotta get the honey. Good stuff. Gotta find a spoon. Oh, I also heard with honey, you shouldn't touch metal to honey. It's supposed to interfere with the antibiotic properties in honey. Honey is one of these pure foods that can actually keep a person alive if they don't have anything else. 1666, sleepy time. Coffee, morning. And Shaughness. Is it? Oh, Seamus McGlade. Did I get it right? Good morning. This is coffee, but I confess it's actually decaf. But I've got to get a spoon. And I have things packed away already. But let's see. I have something special that I had packed up. You see what this is? It's a cat spoon. It is specifically to stir in things like sugars and creamers and stuff like that. I had bought a black one and a white one. And I can't read anything that's about this here because it's all in Japanese. Okay. But I'm going to wash it in soap and water before I actually use it, just because that's a good idea to do so. I'll be right back. This is a really small spoon. This is almost like a baby spoon, except baby spoons have that rubbery coating, which actually I would find that appealing just because it would keep you from having that metal feeling in the mouth. Oh, another kind of cutlery thing that I have had experience with is actually made out of bamboo, and it has a similar feel to, I'm guessing, um, plastic, but it's not. And they have what seems like little miniature wooden spoons. Oh, and I've had uh, small wooden spoons made for children that I got one year at a Chinatown exhibit. Everything was so expensive. It was here in town at Bally's Hotel Casino, and the things they had were things that I had seen much cheaper elsewhere. Isn't that cute? Have a cute cat face. Again, it was something from Timu, and I got this like maybe 3 years ago. I got the white one and I got the black one. Um, Wait till you see this Elon Musk shirt I'm going to get. Him smoking a joint from when he was on Joe Rogan's show. I didn't get it earlier because I didn't want to pay postage. And plus, you never know what the sizing is going to be like. I've gotten extra smalls that were still the equivalent of, I'm guessing, a men's medium. I don't know. Because my father, a lot of times, he wore a men's medium. Say hi, Mom. Oh, you think the mice are going to come up from the downstairs? What? Well, there she is going on about the mice. Well, yeah, they know that I have a standing invite. Say the party's in here. Come on, be a part of the Leathur Rokk channel. I want the mice to star. Oh, this is good coffee, guys. Mm. Put this back. Yeah, my mom is getting stronger and stronger. Uh, and especially now that my friend Debbie sent those exercise bands. You know, my mother can do a lot of those exercises herself, but there's at least one exercise I have to help her with. It's kind of like a rowing exercise. It's kind of like bicep curls on both hands simultaneously. And I have to keep on telling her you have to suck your stomach in, pull your rib cage in, pull your abdominal muscles tight while you're doing these things. You'll get compound effects from these exercises. You know, but she's doing so much better than she was. Oh, speaking of forks and stuff, my mom is still using these cutlery. They have thick grips on them, and they're kind of rubbery, and they just make it so much easier to hold. And matter of fact, hold on a second, I'll show you. this is what. Oh, I'm glad that wasn't full bowl. I'm gonna get whiplash in this apartment. Okay, so look at how the handle is thicker, and it's made of a. It has kind of a rubbery feel, kind of like those pens that are supposed to be ergonomic. That you hold them and they feel like the rubber that you could squeeze. And it's kind of an optical illusion because it's too thin to be squeezable, but you can feel. But yeah, she is doing better. The only thing that is hard to control and is unpredictable is her pain issues. And because we all believe in being conscientious and avoiding addictive things, opiates are almost never a part of the regimen for anything. But she was put on a morphine drip when she was in the hospital, and she was even hallucinating on it and everything. And as scary as it was, the thought of her being on those drugs, she was in such severe pain that there was really no alternative. But that was stopped. Once she stopped having pain, they stopped giving her things like that. And the thing is, with the other over the counter drugs, the NSAIDs, there is a cardiovascular risk if you're taking them over and over and over. And I'm talking about your over the counter things like your acetaminophen or your Tylenol. Now, one of those things my mom can't take, and the other she can, and I forget. And she still takes a baby aspirin, but she has an implant in her chest called a Watchman. And that is something that makes it so that she doesn't need to take any more blood thinners. And so consider if you're a person like her that takes a whole lot of prescriptions and vitamins and things, taking even one less pill is something. And it's supposed to lessen her chance of having a stroke too. Because she recently got an AFib diagnosis. Mm. Yeah, I am in much better spirits. Well, a bunch of reasons. First of all, having something else to film with is a game changer. Not being stuck here, being able to go outside, and not only go outside, but find fun things to film, take pictures with my friends, go on adventures, and actually find things like, say, I see a beautiful flower growing in some unexpected place, or a sticker. I mean, just things that are not really even important, but still, they're so cool to be able to capture. And if you get to find a group of friends and get to films making memories, that's a really special thing. The summer's winding down, and once everybody goes home, and we still have beautiful weather for weeks afterward, but traditionally in Atlantic City we had the Miss America pageant, and that was a week after Labor Day, and that's not so we didn't go back to school until after the Miss America pageant. But everybody else seems to go back to school earlier. And I'm in better spirits because I am seem to be keeping in a supply of marijuana, and I've been smoking for a large part of today. Well, I ran out, right? And then all of a sudden, somebody showed up with a bud like that, and I found some roaches. Didn't even dig into them yet, because when my priority is, if I know my mom's okay for a while and I could go out and film, I wanted to check on the damage caused by the hurricane, and then I want to look for some friends of mine, and then I wanted to go to that place in the park where they give away clothes. And I found another pair of pants for my mom that was, if it was my size, I would have taken it myself because it had a celestial pattern on it. Smiling suns and stuff. I'll show you guys. This coffee is so damn good. Coffee with honey in it. If you like to sweeten your coffee, I recommend honey because it's good for you. Uh, mm. And this is cowboy coffee. This is when I just put the grounds in and then I strain it. That way I don't have to worry about the coffee filter thing. I don't have to worry about, otherwise picking a bunch of coffee grounds out of my mouth. I mean, it still happens anyway a little bit, but not like if I hadn't strained it at all. Plus, it's a good way to make coffee if you're lazy. You know? Yeah, and people had been trying to tell me that I should break down and get a cell phone. And I got my first one when I was in Washington, D.C., after having already learned about enough about them. See, before I had a dim view of them because I thought, why would you need them if you hardly ever talk on the phone? I didn't realize that they were so computer like and having such good cameras. That was a big draw. And I was really depressed when I lost that cell phone that had all that footage of my dead cat. Uh, I was really especially upset because there was footage that I shot that I never shared anywhere, so it's totally lost to the ether. There was things I didn't post on YouTube because I was being bullied by people that were accusing me of neglecting my cats and saying that I should have taken them to the veterinary earlier when I had already made an appointment finally, but I couldn't get an appointment for until the appointment was for 2 weeks after he already had died. So it wasn't for one of my trying, and I wasn't going to go and bankrupt myself and spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and get nothing. I'm not going to do that either. That's just not a practical thing. And I'm also not going to go and take an animal to a veterinarian and give them a couple $100, say, here, and put my animal to sleep. No, I don't think that's right. Both from an economic standpoint, it's not right. And also from a killing standpoint, I don't think it's morally right. Oh, I don't know. That's a chime from something. I don't know. But yes, I like to capture moments. And if I get to travel and get to see things like, if say some big historic thing happened, and say it was much cheaper to go to New York City, I would love to go to New York and find myself in like Times Square or where the ABC News is, and they have the ticker tape thing, and the headlines are on a moving chyron on a screen. And so this historic thing happens, right? And you're going to put it on the screen, and you can take a selfie with that in the background, and you're making a real historic picture and a souvenir. Washington, D.C. would be another good place to go to for things. But the thing is, Washington, I'm so used to going there and staying there for weeks at a time. And because I have housing there and stuff, and obviously because I have to be taking care of my mother, I can't leave for extended times right now. So for that reason, it would be better for me to go to New York. There's less of a temptation. I know that, look, I got to get on the bus in Port Authority and come back here. And there's so many other things I love about New York is that at least, unlike Philadelphia, they have a bus terminal, you know. And now there's so many places that sell weed. Next time I'm going to set aside a little weed money for New York. But I didn't get to go to Chinatown until late at night when everything was closed, so I didn't get to go in there and look around. There's so many things that were not just closed but shuttered up, and lights were turned out. And it just when you don't have the liveliness of the people walking around, it's not the same. Uh, oh, the breeze feels really nice outside. Uh, what am I going to do? Uh, I know what I'm going to do. Time for me to put this in my bowl. Of course, I'm sweating so much and gulping down coffee that warm didn't help, but when you're thirsty, you know. That was Dunkin' Donuts coffee I drank. Dunkin' decaf. Sometimes I mix half decaf and half Colombian, or half decaf and half that cold brew stuff, which is every bit the same thing as coffee, except you can make it, even if it says cold brew, you can make it the way you normally make coffee. You know. Personally, I think the idea of using cold water and therefore taking a lot longer to make something and having to use more coffee and less water to get it to be strong enough seems to make it economically much less feasible. You know, I like things that make a little go a long way. That's another reason why I like to make my coffee the way I do, of putting the coffee directly in the carafe and let the water pour over it. And of course, you have the heating element underneath, so keeping it hot. So it's like it's really brewing those grounds. And as long as you strain them so that you're not getting grittiness in your teeth and stuff, that's a way to get the bag. Like when I was doing this with the bags that I was getting from these hotels, and they have coffee makers in the rooms, and they say it makes a pot for 4 people, 4 cups. And and yet I can make a 10 cup pot here. When I still had those pouches, you just clip them to a roach clip and you dunk it like at least 100 times, and just keep it in the carafe and on the heating element, and you got a 10 cup pot, even though it says 4 cups. So look how those big cups of tea I get with just one tea bag. Tea, you can really, it really will stretch out. Now you can't do that with the hibiscus teas, things like that have, you brew it strong so that you can get this flavor that you bring out in with some kind of a sweetener. Well, if you water it down, you'll just get dishwater. That's one thing that you can't make weak. Anything that's a hibiscus tea or hibiscus base, it gives you that kind of hot lemonade flavor. That's one thing where you can't use like a little tea bag and get a whole pot of tea out of it. I don't even think you can get a second cup out of a used tea bag if you use the tea bag route. Like if you get celestial seasonings or Bigelow's, whatever their name for their herbal teas are, you know. Um, or if you get your tea in bulk. And things like hibiscus, you can actually get straight up hibiscus flowers dried from bins in certain markets. I got it in a market that was mostly Spanish, and they had it kind of near where they had the dry beans. Uh, yeah, having a cell phone is being helpful to me. Knowing that you can get them that cheaply is very helpful to me. Um, Knowing that I'm finding ways to make time for everything is very helpful. In other words, I have time to help my mother with her exercises. I have time to cook her meals. I have time to just be there, be present, be, without feeling like I have to be in a rush to go someplace. Because then you end up feeling guilty if you weren't really appreciating the situations when you're living them. I don't want to have that kind of guilt. So, and then I also am happy that I have the freedom to go and steal myself away and go find that certain thing I wanted to film and go hang out with some friends, go find some weed. And today was a day where this rhythm of things kept on happening. I'm hanging out at my front door talking to somebody, then next thing somebody goes and gives me weed. And then, and Felix showing up and giving me all those buds, you know. I mean, it wasn't like an eighth or anything, but it was still definitely more than a gram, you know, maybe close to 2 grams. I don't know, but it was like, and it wasn't that swag. So, and this, smoking this late, I don't feel a whole lot. But now I'm wondering whether I should go out to Tropicana or not. 'Cause, I shouldn't be thinking about my safety or anything, but I'm just curious as to if there's any liveliness tonight, since it's still the summertime. And the thing is, say there is, and I'm missing out because I'm not there. And since my mom ate and I ate, and I got that live stream out of it, and again, I'm giving emphasis on the fact that my mom did eat and she really enjoyed the food. So I don't have the guilt factor, right? I just turned that fan on. 53%. Freedom. Any of you fellow Americans, doesn't feel great to be free. I mean, I'm not dissing all you other countries. England, I think, is really wonderful. But you know what? There's things people get in trouble for voicing certain opinions. You don't have a First Amendment. And that makes me feel sad, you know. Do I have a pipe collection? I guess I kind of do. Sometimes I don't keep them if they're clogged. I've thrown some out, actually. I was given these the other day. They're beautiful. They're the kind you got to be careful not to burn your finger. Just have to put a screen in. And there's this one that has feet on it, so it's easy to set down. And it's just like a basic, I guess you'd call it a rose gold finish. But my favorites are the glass ones. This, I have a friend who, until recently, would not hold it in his hand. He found it so offensive, and he gave me such a hassle. And it became kind of a running joke that, like, why are you going to be so silly? Well, there's this. It's a Scorpio. And I never liked glass when I was on the West Coast because I was always on concrete, and you drop glass, it's going to shatter. But here, most of the smoking that we're doing is on the boardwalk, and they won't drop on wood. They won't shatter on wood. And they certainly won't shatter when you drop them on the sand. And they certainly won't shatter if you drop them on the grass in somebody's backyard. So, and also there was they really dropped in price when the dollar stores here were selling them for $2, $3, and $5 each. And $5 pipes were these really intricate bongs. But the only thing is the stems, all the hole areas were so narrow that they ended up getting clogged too soon. Yeah, yeah. Uh, and I'll show you something that's clogged, but I'm not going to get rid of it. It's just a basic pipe that's kind of very similar to this yellow one. It's a little smaller than the yellow one, as you can see. But for some reason, when I took pictures with the Hello Kitty pipe and I posted them to Facebook, I had some friend of mine didn't realize it was a marijuana smoking device. He thought it was something that I certainly wouldn't pose for a picture with, if you get my drift. And I was absolutely shocked that he had such a dirty mind, you know. But anyway, it's clogged up, so I don't use it anymore. I tried using the paper clip thing, and I really don't want to use up all my rubbing alcohol because I do have some 70 proof that I really want to use for when I need to disinfect something, you know. Because now, for some reason, the main kind of alcohol they sell at the dollar stores is the 50% alcohol. And it may be refreshing, but it doesn't kill germs, you know. Oh, they don't call it proof. They say 70% isopropyl alcohol. So, but if you want to kill germs, yeah. Oh, I have to put this back on the burner. out back. Oh boy, does it smell like weed in here. He said, you can boil it clean, but it will ruin the pot, and don't touch the bowl when it's hot. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing is, it's so much effort, but people will do that if they have a big fancy $200 glass bong. And that's the thing is, those things are so fragile. I've had cats knock over people's bongs before, and they really got legitimately butthurt. And because they claimed they spent $200 on a piece. I would never spend $200 on a piece. I have paid $10 for those flimsy little blown glass curly things. They're like basically one hitters for really, really good weed. And I never used to pay for pipes like this because they used to be way more expensive than they are now. And getting something like that was an investment that was fragile. And not only you have to worry about the chance of breaking it and shattering it, but also the fact that once it has resin in it, it becomes paraphernalia, which becomes something that you could get caught with. And how do you easily conceal something like that without breaking it when you're out in an unfamiliar urban setting? You know, I'm so glad that all those places where I used to worry about those things, it's fully legal now. Los Angeles, the whole state of California is fully legal. Washington D.C. is fully legal. Except for you can't be on federal property, or you can't you can't be using on federal property, or you can't get caught using on federal property. If it was made federally legal, then that wouldn't be a problem. You need to make those claws actually bigger. But a lot of times, though, you end up eventually snapping them. I have too much thick hair that I could just clip it all back with only one. What I'm doing is I'm scrunching it up so that when I claw it up, it'll keep it curly, wavy, all that stuff. Didn't even get all of it. You know? It's tiny ass clip. Just when I'm grabbing it, I don't want to inadvertently stretch it out and pull out the pearl.